It's bodega time. Yep, you already know what's going on. Part of people, the place to be. I go by the name of the BK Apologist, transmitting all the way live. New York is the city. Brooklyn is the borough. What's good? What's poppin'? We made it through another week, family. It's amazing. We are here. We are alive. And as Featherstone always says, God is still on his throne. You know what I mean? So let me shout out some people in the chat. We got my sister, Valerie. You know, she got actually a new podcast. I had the honor of being interviewed by her. So hopefully that's coming out pretty soon. Thank you, Valerie, for that. We got Carly. We got King Charles. We got everybody's cousin, Matthew McCants. Inside joke. Of course, we got Bodega Lady, Titus 2. We got Isaiah Robinson. We got another Bodega Lady, Dean New. We got C3. You know what I mean? We got the incomparable, the indelible. Nate 2D2 in the building. We got Keith Covington. Hello. We got Isaiah Braxton. We got who else? We got I always mess up your name. Joe Satan. Please help me break that down because I don't want to, I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I want to say your name correct. Let's see. And of course we got Michelle Turner doing double duty in the chat and in the panel. This is cool. So all right, so let's get into who we got in the panel. We got a couple of bodega ladies in the panel. First, we're gonna start with Shotty Mills is in the building. What's going on, sis?
Hey everybody, it's Bodega Night, baby.
Hey.
I don't know. Wow, I don't even know what that really was, but hey everyone, hi BK, hey fam.
Hey, what's going on? And then of course we have another bodega lady in the panel. We got Michelle Turner. What's going on, sis?
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Everybody's favorite cousin. I'm the second cousin.
There you go. And of course, we got the real American Mr. Phil Fox in the building. What's going on, sir?
What's happening, family? Love y'all.
All right. We got Dr. Detroit, better known as Apologist in Detroit. What's going on, sir?
That's right. He's the rapper. I'm the DJ.
Wow. Interesting. Nice. So as always, when we begin, we got to talk about that Corona. Actually, when it comes to you, Shotty, though, let's talk about these hurricanes first, though. Like, what's going on, sis?
Dude, so as if you aren't familiar, last week we in Louisiana, 2020 is just
worse.
I mean, I'm like, what's next? I'm peeping around the corner like scared. But so here in Louisiana, we had two hurricanes, Marco and Laura, all threatening to come at us all at the same time. So Marco came first. He kind of stayed around by the coast. We was cool. We were chilling. Okay, cool, Marco. We feel you. Good. Laura down there by Cuba, like, oh no, I'm coming, and I'm coming with some stuff. Everybody in Louisiana, we have PTSD when it comes to floods and hurricanes. So we don't play around down here. I'm talking about grocery store, everything. Laura came. She was like category 4. Super duper strong 150 mile per hour winds on the western side of Louisiana. Now I'm in southeastern Louisiana, closer to New Orleans area. So when she hit southwestern Louisiana, we knew on the eastern side of the state that we weren't gonna really experience a lot of damage from Laura, but she was so big that we did have tropical storm conditions. So we had wind gusts up to like 39, 40 miles per hour here in Louisiana. And I'm like, so on the western coast, like Lake Charles is what got done really, really bad. I'm about, let's say 3 or 4 hours from Lake Charles. And I felt 39 mile per hour gusts of winds. So imagine what they were feeling, and they were directly hit. So the down there on the western side of the state is really, really bad. A lot of damage, a lot of recovery and rebuilding has to happen. Unfortunately, 6 lives have been lost attributed to the hurricane. So it was a doozy in the state. And I work for a power company down here, and so down there in Lake Charles, we there's a lot of people trying to go down there to restore electricity where they can, but our company is already saying it's going to be weeks before some people get some power. So just trying to gather up some stuff. I'm actually going through my closet now to see what can I gather together in order to give, because people have lost clothes, they've lost everything. So financially, and of course, what I have that I can give, that's something that's going on. So,
and if that wasn't bad enough, of course, we still have the constant threat of the coronavirus. So what's been going on with that?
So coronavirus down here, we've been doing really well with bringing our numbers down. The last check that I had with from the virus, we had come under the 10% positivity rate that all of the states are looking for. However, the hurricane impacted some of the areas with the higher positivity rate. So a lot of people had to move to Baton Rouge to evacuate, because there was mandatory evacuations. So a lot of people were moving to Baton Rouge, and so that means that the virus was moving to. All of the testing and the numbers have been suspended for the past couple of days. So we don't really know, and we won't know for the next 2 weeks exactly what this movement of people would have had on the virus. So just keep us in your prayer, in your prayers.
Right, amen. So, Ms. Turner, what's going on with that Rona by you?
Well, we were at level 3, and they were like, we're starting school virtually. And then we went to level 2 because our numbers, we never was like super high to begin with, but they did kind of rise a little bit. But we are back at a level 2. So we're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with school. Nobody in my house is going into anybody's school. I don't care what they say is going to, if I got to hire a teacher, because I've been interviewing teachers, that's what's going to happen, because I can't risk that. So it's not been like terrible. I mean, it's terrible in a sense. My birthday is Monday, and I'm supposed to be in the Bahamas, and apparently I'm here. So it's like, it hadn't really, like, I missed a couple other vacations before this one, so it hadn't really hit me. Like, I missed my vacations, but this one has hit me a little harder because it's my birthday vacation. I go out of town every year for my birthday, and I'm just like, I'm still here, but I'm not willing to risk it either to go out of town. Like, I don't want to be home, but I also don't want coronavirus. So I don't care if the survival rate is high. I still don't want to risk that, because I might survive. Somebody I love might get it, and they might not survive. I'm not taking that kind of chance with nobody's life.
Right. And what's going on with you, Mr. Phil Fox? What's going on there by the D?
Oh, it's the same old. We're just slow rolling. Our school district has decided to go. They were going to go give you the option to either go virtual school or in person, but they just decided to pull the whole district and go into online learning at least till October. So positive decision there. Appreciate that. And it's been about the same. I mean, I think we had a slow little uptick, but who knows where we're going to go from here. But I think that's going to help a lot. I know that there's some districts that decided to go regular in-person school. But we'll hopefully we're not in that boat where we get like 3,000 kids with corona.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how it's such a precarious thing about, because these are children now. I mean, all lives, are important, but it's like when you start dealing with people's children, I mean, that's a whole different, level of intensity right there.
Yeah.
With you, Mr. Detroit, I know both you guys are from the D, but from your perspective, what's going on with that virus, bro?
Phil gave a great update. I mean, we've been keeping it under control for the most part, keeping things locked down. Our cases aren't out of hand or anything like that, to the point that they're talking about having some schools actually meet in person. So yeah, it's been pretty laid back. I've been to been getting out a little bit more, going to a couple of events, like when I was going to the little softball games, little league games, and it's about 50-50. Like you're required to wear a mask indoors at any commercial place. But other than that, I see a lot of people that's just like pretty much done with it, and they're just out and living their life like they was Bon Jovi, right? It was Bon Jovi, right? It's my life.
Man, so for New York, let me just. Okay, hold on.
He's got receipts for his Corona update.
Don't hate, fam. Let me see here. Okay. All right, cool. So that's weird. You can see my screen? Okay, why is it acting like that? Okay, that's not good.
That's interesting.
All right. So total hospitalizations. This is from yesterday. We have 478 total hospitalizations, 97,826 tests reported yesterday. 636 were positive, which makes 0.65% of total. The total hospitalizations fell to 478. Sadly, there were 3 COVID fatalities yesterday. So as you see, we have most definitely flattened the curve in New York. We have opened gyms, and we're about to open movie theaters. So, yeah, so New York's doing its thing, man.
I'm moving to New York City.
If you can afford
we're
the
gonna
rent,
we're gonna be the last state to open gyms and movie theaters. Michigan. We'll be the last state. Watch.
I can't afford to move to New York. Y'all, it's too expensive. Goodbye.
Nah, it's crazy over here, sis. It's definitely crazy.
I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. So with that, now, as apologists, we know the importance of contextualizing the gospel, right? We really want to make sure that people understand and can connect with the message of the death, burial, and resurrection. So, we will speak in certain ways, in certain terms, so that people can understand. We'll use some, urban vernacular, some street idioms to get our point across. And I think that's very important. We see Paul do it. We see Jesus do it. It's very important for us to evangelize in a manner that people can receive the gospel. But with that being said, there's certain things that just doesn't really fly well when you try to get the gospel, right? Do you guys see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet.
See, that's weird. What's going on with my screen? Hold up. I thought I was sharing. I guess not. So.
Wow.
I cannot.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. Did you see what anyway, let's go.
So do you guys see that? Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, we can see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what that mouth do? The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouth of fools pour out folly. Proverbs 15:2. Which is kind of interesting, right? Because they need that proverb to be told to them. Because I understand that I understand that we need to contextualize, but this is going too far. It is going too far. So I mean, what are your thoughts about this, guys?
I'm just tired of people. Like people just disappointed me all week long. I'm so over it. When I seen that, I just was like, I hope this is fake, because this is not. When you read that, you're not thinking like, well, let me figure out how he can be a great orator for the Lord. That's not what people are thinking about when they see that. It's disrespectful, and you knew what you were doing when you did it. And it just makes the Christian community look bad when we do stuff like that, trying to be cute and relevant. It's not cute, nor is it relevant. It's ignorant.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
This whole idea of us being it's just this is thirsty for us to be relevant, right? Oh, let me do this so I can be catchy, because That's the only way I gonna get people to come to my like. This is ridiculous. It's crass and it's ridiculous, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of the sermons that's titled off of these crude and nasty songs. I'm sick and tired of these nasty or cultural lingos being used as a title for your conference. I'm tired of it. We're not. This is so beneath anything that we're called to be and do. I'm just sick and tired of it, and they just need to do better. All of this in a hunt to be relevant to attract young people. And then when you get there, it's going to be a bunch of shenanigans going on. Ain't going to be no real proper exegesis of scripture. I'm just sick. I'm sick and I'm tired of it.
Real quick. So yeah, I just saw this text. Someone just texted me. It seems that Chadwick Boseman has passed from colon cancer. So
oh wow.
Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers for his family. And that's just crazy.
That's
so
that's sad. He was young too.
That is. He was only like 43, 44.
Yeah. Oh, that's sad. But I just want to put it out there because I know people will probably talk about it in the chat. So so our thoughts and prayers goes to his family. He was an amazing actor. I don't know what his theology was, but we hope that his family can stay strong at this time, and that they will rely on God during this dark time. So, but yes, going back to what we're talking about, bad contextualization, right? What that mouth do. I mean, I get it. I get what you're trying to do. I get it, but that's not what we mean when we say be all things to all men. That's not what the Bible says.
Yeah.
No.
That's not it. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it reminds me of go ahead, sis.
No, go ahead.
I was reading this book about evangelism, and they were talking about it sort of sparked a post that I posted this week about how the church overall they want people to motivate them instead of someone who's going to speak the truth. And it just shows us how biblical the church has become, because we want relevance rather than truth.
Yeah.
We want the notoriety or the coolness, rather than effectiveness, and we have traded the power of the gospel for the slickness of the tongue, right? And our words have almost no power anymore in the modern church, because the things that we're saying, there's no gospel behind it.
Right.
And what did Paul say? The gospel is the power of salvation.
Yeah.
And there's power within the gospel itself. And so if there's no gospel in that message, there's no truth in that message. So then it makes that message weak. And so, it's not a wonder that we are constantly being influenced by the world, the church overall, the scene church. It just, I'm in the same accord with the ladies. I mean, it's sad to see, and it's so frustrating because there are people who are trying to give the word and redeem the word and revive the word and press the word out into the public and pump truth into people. And then we have things like this that make and these are the things that are visible, right? These are the things that are visible to us, or to not just to us, but to the masses. And unfortunately, it's this type of stuff. It's the fluff that gets to the masses, not the truth. And so the small steps that we make, those of us who are trying to proclaim the truth of the gospel, it makes our steps almost as if we haven't made any strides forward. And but we know and we can trust that God is gonna honor that, because for that one, it's the story of the starfish, right? If we get to that one person, it's going to matter to them because they taste redemption. So sisters and myself and those, those who might be in the chat, as frustrating as it might be, if this whole thing is just for one soul, then it's totally worth it for me. So that's my thoughts.
Amen.
Yeah. I think that that like every tradition has its tropes. It has its little mannerisms and ways of doing things that kind of make it distinct. One of the sad tropes is things like this, when what you practice as Christianity is so shallow that you have to, resort to clickbait. You have to resort to saying things in sensational ways as if that sensationalism, the sensationalism ultimately becomes your substance. It's the thing that you're about, rather than you actually being about what Christianity is actually about. So yeah, it frustrates me, and it reminds me a lot of my history going to local churches in Detroit, where often the substance was some little pithy saying or something that might have brought some encouragement to a person or two, but at the end of the day really was empty. So.
When you said clickbait, I thought you were talking about something else.
Don't start.
Don't start. Let's
Don't start, because it won't end well.
Let's keep it where it is.
It will not end well.
Where it is.
It'll get real bloody real fast. But anyway, sorry guys.
About to get riled up. But
you see my eyebrow already?
Yeah, like
can you do one eyebrow like The Rock, Shotty?
There you go.
Uh-oh.
If you smell
what the Shotty is cooking. Shotty can actually cook, you guys. Let me throw that out there.
I can. I
don't want no problems. I don't want no problems, fam. I'm good.
We gotta get rid of this one too, even though we were using it before.
Right now, I mean, this is a little different only because this acronym has been used by the church for quite a long time, right? So I don't know if they are even aware of the cultural shift of the current iteration of this acronym. So they might be completely ignorant of it. You know what I mean? Because we all have our bubbles that we live in, But the reason why I brought this up is, even though there is a history, and I'm actually going to show some of that, of using this acronym by the church, because the current iteration is so crude, it's probably not wise to use this acronym, at least right now. Only so that people won't make that connection, right? I'm not saying this is a sin issue. This is a wisdom issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a wisdom issue. Like, is this really wise to do right now? And again, I'm not saying they knew or they even aware, because, good righteous folk, church folk probably have no clue about this. Those of us who are in the urban landscape, we have to be aware of it because that's the ministry that we have, right? But so I saw a person, an atheist, post this as a way of critiquing the church. So I had to show him that, well, we've been using this acronym way before the song. Like, for instance, the Worship and Praise Night by Heaven Citizens Hall. And if you look at the date, May 18th, 2018, right? Or how about this? Again, Heaven Citizens, they have a constant thing, Worship and Praise Night. This was June 2018. Then we have this. This is now, the acronym here is Worship and Prophetic Conference. This was March 2018. All right. The acronym here is When Africa Prays, right? The Christian Village. Now, it doesn't say the year, but it's December 22nd, way before the song was released this year. 2015, the Greatest Worship and Praise Festival, right? December 5th, 2015. So it's like, yeah, so that's, it's been used already. Like, it's not, they're not trying to cash in. I don't think they're trying to cash in on the newest iteration of it, I think, but it's the opposite now, right? It's the world kind of co-opting an acronym that church folk have been using for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But even with that, because it's such a popular iteration, it's probably best not to use it so there is no confusion. You know what I mean? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
I agree. I just feel like once the world get a hold of something and mess it up, it's like when kids used to say lit all the time and then their parents start saying lit and it was no longer a thing. I think that's kind of like how the church should view this. Like now that the world has gotten a hold of it and they have used it for their own propaganda, just go and let them have it. We should have a lot more to offer than WAP anyway. So let them have it.
Right. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They got 93 million streams now. So I think they won that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Mhm.
real.
Yeah.
James Hall and Worship and Praise has been JH WAP on the gram forever.
I mean,
Well-
JH WAP, it's a little bit different
Yeah, that's a
than
little
just
different.
WAP on top of a flyer.
Now that's an interesting
Yeah.
point. He's saying in the video, he says Cardi and Megan had church hairstyles. They knew what it came from. That's interesting take.
Well, it wasn't really a church hairstyle.
Yeah.
It was just like a sweet updo.
Yeah.
That was from back in like the 90s. I actually was gonna get my hair done like that for my birthday, and the Bodega ladies was like, "No, you don't want to be giving the wrong impression."
Yeah.
But
So-
again, it's sad, right? Because the hairstyle itself is not sensible.
love the
because
hairstyle.
it's connected,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It's a
Yeah.
wisdom thing again.
Yeah, it is. So I decided not
Yeah.
to do it because of that. But I used to rock that ponytail when I was younger because I had long, thick hair. So I would put it in a ponytail, and I would have that ponytail all the time. And now I'm just like,
Wait,
Forget
what
it.
are we talking about? I haven't seen the video.
Same. So it's
I've
Good.
avoided the
Good.
video.
do not
Yeah.
watch it. But
I've
we
seen
will
this new
Yeah,
shot
I haven't
describe
seen the
of
video
that,
either.
you know, with the hairstyles.
we'll
Yeah.
describe the hairstyle. It's like a little swoop in the front. Then
Mhm.
all the hair is up in a ponytail, and then it's what we call pin curls.
Pin curls going
And you
all the
had
way
like a
around.
little,
Mhm.
a
Oh,
little
like
pendulum coming
Yeah.
down.
like
Mhm.
357 MC the
Like a up-
357 like
I don't know
just-
who that
okay.
is, but sure.
Updo. It's like an updo.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everybody wore that. Like that was when you were in a wedding, when you were going to a banquet, when you were going anywhere
Mhm.
special. That was your hairstyle. You either had that, or you had some banana peels coming down, or you had like the little hump to the top with the
I
little
had the hump
crisscross,
with the crisscrosses.
and the little crimped bang, and then you had the bang to the back. That's what we wore.
Yeah, that's what we
We
did.
was
Got
fly.
it.
Yeah.
That's what we
Bodega
I
gets
missed
did.
that
transformed
hairstyle.
into a hair salon.
That's what we did. That's what we
To the
did. That's what we
hair
did.
salon by the
Mhm.
floor.
Yeah, but I mean, but no, it was a sweet hairstyle, so I decided to just do something else because I didn't want to give nobody wrong impression because I'll fight you. So I'm gonna say.
I did say some banana peels.
Yeah, that's what they were.
You-
They were called
You
banana
had
peels.
banana peels. Don't play.
Or
Don't
pineapple
play
finger waves, or some
with your
pineapple
little-
finger waves with your banana peels coming out the pineapple finger waves. Yeah, you was
Wow.
fly if you had
And
that.
your bamboo earrings. Don't play. You was cute.
Yes,
was
you know
cute.
it. Just fly for no reason.
Liner around the lip with some lip gloss.
With some
Do
rips.
not play.
Mm-hmm.
So to continue, Sister star Marquis Houston marries Maya Dickey in private ceremony. Now, why are we addressing this here? Well, Houston wed Maya Dickey in an ultra-private ceremony on Monday. People has confirmed. The two exchanged vows at the Eagle Glen Golf Club in Corona, California. Wow, what a name. Houston, 39, and Dickey, 19, kept the guest list small due to coronavirus, solidifying that love in front of Houston's immature bandmates, Jerome Jones and Kelton Kesey. I guess that's how you say it. Now, Houston defended his relationship with Dickey due to the concerns about their nearly 20-year age difference. With all that's going on in the world, my love life shouldn't be a topic, he wrote. But since it is, let me just give y'all the facts so you don't have to allegedly believe or create rumors. This is not music or television. This is my family, my future wife, and my life. He continued. Houston explained that he met Dickey in 2018 at a Jehovah's Witness convention, and they were introduced through the actor's manager, Chris Stokes, and his daughter. Maya and I didn't start dating until she was an adult, he wrote. We fell in love and got engaged in March of 2019. My dad, Michael, loves her, and the people I am closest to all love her as well. Most importantly, we have Jehovah's blessing. There's so much more to be concerned about in the world than creating rumors about me, he concluded. No twists, no turns, no scandals, just true love. There's nothing that can come to light because there's no darkness in my life. You wanted the truth. I don't have anything to hide. Thoughts?
Miss Titus.
But she right though. Chris Stokes have been pimping kids for a long time, and I'm with her. She said what she said.
She's 19 and he
Yeah.
met her. It's 2020.
Yeah,
He met
he
her in
told us
2018.
she was 17. Talk about 11 days after they she turned 18 and started dating. You 11 days later lie, and I don't believe nothing he say. You over here grooming this young girl because you knew she was under 18. I wish somebody would come around my house like, I want to date your daughter, and I'm 39 and she's 19. I'm like, bro, this ain't really what you want. Just go on and walk away. But they said she was also
Why you can?
Why you can? Because they might not. Because the option might not be there in 10 minutes. But no.
Be on site.
Hey, I'm just saying, we got a lot of land. So she was actually listed as a missing person for a minute because she was in foster care. So it's like she was like, nobody wants to address the fact that this young lady was missing, and she was with Chris Stokes. Like, I don't trust Chris Stokes. Let me just be honest. I don't trust Chris Stokes nor the boat that he came on, and he run around here with people's kids. Like, come on, man. Just all this is inappropriate. It's just
when he said, I waited until she was an adult. I'm like, what you mean you waited?
No, it's Aaliyah and R. Kelly.
Waited. Lions wait for gazelles in the grass.
Yeah. That's what he was doing.
What you mean you waited, fam? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like,
you was waiting, fam. Like, what you mean you was waiting? She's gonna bust.
Because he was grooming her. He was grooming her.
When I read that, I was like, oh, so you was prepping. I literally, this is what I said to him. So you prepped this girl until she turned 18, so that could be right.
It's called grooming. Like, yeah, he groomed her.
And everybody was like, oh, ain't nothing wrong with this. She's an adult. She was an adult.
She was an adult when he was grooming her. Exactly. When he was grooming her, she was not an adult. I can't get down with stuff like that.
First of all, if you're 19, why would you want to marry somebody that's 39? Just a question.
Because he got money.
And then, does he have money though?
That's her sugar daddy.
Chris Stokes kind of did him dirty. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Chris Stokes hooked him up. So so he.
And the other thing is, as a woman, I don't have any children, but if it was my daughter, no.
And I ain't got no kids either, but still come around here. The kids I claim, just know the kids I claim. You come around here and even for the boy. If a 39-year-old woman come and he's 19, like I want to date him, I'm like, look, ma'am. Like, I know you think this is gonna happen, but it ain't gonna happen.
Coming up soon.
He about to get that AARP card that she waiting for.
Man. I'm over 30 and I'm an adult when it comes to my mama. My mama,
exactly.
My mama, like, you a child to me. No, this is not what. See, we're not gonna make this acceptable, and we're not gonna just ignore the fact that you're gonna say I waited until she was 18.
Yeah, he gave it away.
How we know you waited until she was 18?
He waited.
Yeah, see, here's what I tell my oldest daughter. You know, my oldest daughter, she is 14 at the moment. But she is already very mature looking for her age. And, I said back in my day, if there was a guy who was a junior in high school looking at a freshman, let alone an 8th grader, I said he was a punk because there's something wrong with him, because these boys who can't hang with their own age group, they either got some kind of complex, they got mama issues, they got some kind of, something going on, because if you got to be dating something like that, and this is what I tell my daughters, both my daughters, if a young man, if you are afraid to bring him home, then don't even bother bringing him home.
Mhm.
because
That's right.
because if he doesn't live up to my standards, work as hard as I do, and treat you the way that I treat your mama, then the answer is going to be no. So don't even think about bringing some fool to my door because he's going to be dealt with.
Mhm.
And I said, you don't want to go through that pain. I said, because you can say, Dad, all you want, but it will be over my dead body that some fool is taking advantage of my little girl.
Mhm. Exactly.
So,
Yeah, you don't want to play Phil
Exactly.
Fox. His family runs deep. You don't want that smoke.
oh, you don't even know.
Yeah.
But I got, I mean, Miss Michelle said, she got lots of land, but girl, I got tenfold
Yeah, I believe it.
out in the middle of the reservation.
I'm just saying.
That's where people
All I'm
go
saying
to
is,
disappear.
but see,
You go
but
missing
Yeah.
quick.
that's what I'm saying. You my brother. So if I ain't got enough room, I'm gonna be like, hey,
Oh,
Phil,
yeah.
I need to just drive up there real
Oh, yeah,
quick.
well,
You just know
No,
you're
no
gonna be
questions
missing.
asked, Phil. No
Yeah.
questions
Yeah,
asked.
just know you're gonna be missing. Just know that.
Whose car
Don't
we
come
taking?
around these parts.
What kind of conversation is a 17-year-old having with a 37-year-old? I don't care how people say, oh, people are mature for
At
their
a
age.
church conference.
At 17, I don't care how
Mhm.
mature a 17-year-old is. A
Mhm.
17-year-old is 17. Period. I don't
Mhm.
care. So what type of conversations are you having with a 17-year-old? Like what y'all got in common? Help me understand.
That's right. There is no
There's no
conversation.
There's no
conversation.
conversation.
Well,
And
and
y'all met
There's
at a
hey, hello, how are
convention?
you? That's about it. That's it.
Yeah, and that's
where
the
my
thing
money?
too.
Sir. Hello,
You ain't-
sir. How are you, mister?
That's
all
right.
you got to say. It's not even hello. It's not even hello, Marquez. It's hello, Mr. Houston, because this man could be
Exactly.
your
Because you
daddy.
20.
What y'all
Exactly.
got to talk about? What y'all have to talk about? And then you meeting them at a convention. Really? So no adult saw this and thought that something was wrong? Y'all
Well,
get out of here. I
well,
can't.
see,
No.
here's the thing too is I do have some limited experience. Actually, my mother was a practicing Jehovah's Witness for a while, and when I was young, I would go door to door and knock in and on your set, messing up your Saturday morning, uh, and I would and I remember going to these massive conferences. But later on, as I got older, they were sort of in the same thing. My mother was a beautiful young Native lady, and they were trying hard. There was this older couple that was sort of grooming her, and they were prepping her because they were really pushing hard for her to be baptized, and then that opened the door to then marriage. So they had this guy already sort of teed up already and they were sort of, they would have quote Bible study, and this guy would be there. And then of course, he would take me out shopping and, doing, so trying to butter my mother up because she knows to a mother's heart, single mother's heart, if he can get along with the child, so that kind of stuff. So this happens all the time within the Jehovah's Witness whole realm. And they do sort of do these setup marriages. So it's not uncommon. And I'm sure, age it's just a number, so just, that's the entire MO, because they want to keep it within their own sort of circle. And so if they can keep it there, it sort of insulates themselves. But
even in the ancient Near East, right? I mean, they did do arranged marriages, right? But it was kids, they were the same age. You know what I mean? It wasn't like you're 30 years her senior. Like that wasn't, you know what I mean? It's like, so even with that, it's still crazy if the person's way much older than the other,
Yeah, in ancient Near East, on average, it was about a 6-year gap. Girls around 12, guys normally around 18, 20 years old. So that was roughly the age for those in ancient Near East. And I remember a story with David in his late age, because he needed someone to lay with him to keep his body heat. But it talks about how he didn't defile her, or he didn't have sex with her because he didn't want to defile her, so that she would be able to be married to someone else. So, even they look at stuff like that as immoral. Back then, and the ethics back then were way more crude compared to what we have today.
Right. It's crazy, fam. So let's continue on. All right. An RNC speaker said cops would be smart to racially profile her own son.
I'm get sick of these people. Lord help me.
Right now, this is a quote from her. Right now, Jude is an adorable, perpetually tan-looking little brown boy, said Johnson, whose husband blogged in 2015 about adopting their biracial son at his birth. Johnson is white, but one day he's going to grow up and he's going to be a tall, probably sort of large, intimidating looking, maybe brown man. And my other boys are probably going to look like nerdy white guys. Statistically, I look at our prison population and I see that there are disappropriately high number of African American males in our prison population for crimes, particularly for violent crimes. So statistically, when a police officer sees a brown man like my Jude walking down the road, as opposed to my white nerdy kids, my white nerdy men walking down the road, because of the statistics that he knows in his head, that these police officers know in their head, they're going to know that statistically my brown son is more likely to commit a violent offense over my white sons. So the fact that in his head, he would be more careful around my brown son than my white son, that doesn't actually make me angry. That makes that police officer smart because of statistics. What say you?
She want her son to get shot by cops, is what he's saying. He's saying the police are smart to just be often black people because statistically, we gonna go ahead and commit some crimes. So here's the issue I have with that. I have a brother. My brother is 31 years old. My brother is 6'1". My brother is very muscular. My brother is chocolate. Okay, so he used to get harassed because we live in a very melanin deficient neighborhood, and so when he was younger, he had a charger with the light kit under it because that's what he wanted, and it would bother him all the time because of who he was. So I mean, and no other, like there's another kid who had a similar car to his who didn't get as harassed, but he wasn't as melanated as my brother. So it was obvious, a profiling issue. So when you look at these issues, because they probably, after a while, they left him alone because they realized, like, well, he live out here, so I guess he's not coming to bother us. But when you look at these issues of why we're so, quote unquote, more prone to commit violent crimes, which is not statistically true. So she's already lying. Start with that. She's already lying. But if you don't look at the systematic and the systemic issues leading to Black people being disproportionately incarcerated, then you have a problem on your hand. And you're saying that the person that I adopted, I'm not raising him well, so the cops should automatically assume that he's going to be some violent person just because he's going to be tall and Black. Like, it's just, he just don't sit right with me. And then somebody need to take that baby from her, because at this point, I really don't trust him with her or with her fine-looking white sons that she's trying to portray. Like, none of that sits well with me. And again, statistically, she's not correct. So it's not even a thing. And plus, if we have to start looking at sentencing, and then we have to look at the 13th Amendment, how it has affected the Black neighborhood. Then we have to start looking at the 1994 crime bill and Reagan's crime bill and all these war on drugs. And then even though it's a war on drugs, now we have what is it called? The opioid crisis. So we went from a war on drug to a crisis to now you get 3 strikes and all of a sudden you're going to jail. And somebody in jail for stealing hedge cutters, and they like $15 and they in jail for the rest of their life. So are we looking at all of these issues that she's referring to that leads Black people to going to jail? Are we looking at redlining and how that disproportionate our neighborhoods as well? Are we looking at the funding to our schools because our schools are not properly funded? We don't have good education, and how by 2nd grade they determine if you're going to be in prison or not? Are we also looking at how we can commit the same crime as somebody who don't look like us and we'll still get more time than that person would? Or they'll get a slap on the wrist? Like, are we looking at these things, that crimes that Black people, quote unquote, commit the most, they also tend to have higher sentencing? And then when they try to go and fight these things, the Supreme Court is like, well, it don't really meet the rules. So because it don't meet the rule, you can't really prove it. But we're like, well, can we get the prosecutors to show us their data to show us, hey, they are being disproportionately affected by this. And they're like, no, we can't make them give that to you. So we can't even get the information that we need to even prove that we're being disproportionate outside of us looking at it and telling, like, why is 13% of the population 80% of the prison population? That makes no sense to me. So you want to look at sheer numbers, but you don't want to look at the fact that, again, we're 13% of the population. Police officers murder us 79% higher percents of the time. Yeah, they got videos of white people chasing them down with axes and hammers and talking about some, oh, this man shot at police officers. Well, he just didn't handle COVID well. Oh, they shot up all these black people, so they just have a mental illness. A black person do something. Oh, he must have been a criminal and a drug offender and something else was going on in his life. We're not looking at those issues. No, get the fact that police is killing us and that's okay. And I realize every time that they want to be reelected and something's going on, first thing they say is, we're going to be tough on crime and we're going to make sure we're tough on crime. And all that means is, hey, we're going to allow the police to keep killing black people and not say nothing. And then we're going to end up right back to where we started all over again. But nobody want to address the real issues. You want to talk about the root, deal with the root of it. Not what it looks like on the outside, because there's a whole lot of reasons why it looks like this in urban neighborhoods. And then gentrification. So I tell people all the time, buy your house, buy where you're living at. They can't gentrify your neighborhoods if you own the block. Well, it's hard to own the block. And when you try to go get loans, they're like, oh, we're not going to give you the loan, even though you got the same points as somebody who don't look like you, or they're going to try to give you a higher interest rate. So now it's something that you can't even afford. And so now it's easy to gentrify it, because then they're going to push you out. And all of a sudden, when they're like, we're going to take over the neighborhood, all of a sudden the police want to come in and make all these drug raids and all this other stuff. Y'all wasn't worried about it before. And now y'all want to fix infrastructure. Y'all wasn't worried about fixing infrastructure before. Y'all didn't care about the schools before. Now all of a sudden y'all about to move black people out. And now all of a sudden y'all care. Oh, so, but yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's just say, let the police kill my black son and I'll be okay with it, because the police officer be smart to murdering. That's what she said. And she shouldn't have that baby if that's how she feels.
Just so everybody knows. Just wait. Just so everybody knows. Michelle didn't know I was gonna put this topic up.
I did not.
She has this clip already loaded. Like it stays on her hip. Okay?
I did not.
No one knew I was gonna drop this topic. So she has this conversation quite frequently.
All I gotta say is, Michelle for president. Let's write her name in, y'all.
All day.
Everybody, let's write her name.
I'm with it.
That's our candidate.
All hearts and minds are clear.
That's our candidate.
Right, the door is open. Is there one? Because I mean,
and the VP's Phil Fox. The VP's Phil Fox.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I'm the head of the CIA.
That's the wow. I don't know, Shotty. But they like Shotty. I don't know.
Shotty gonna be my AG all day long. Shotty's the AG. You hear me now?
Excuse me.
I'll have to have a politics in Detroit be over the CIA. He's a little bit more level-headed, and he'll make better decisions than us, because we'll be like,
you be part of the deep state. You be doing the COVID missions, Shotty. The ones that we disavow, that's the missions you do.
Wait a minute. Y'all don't believe me? I got some yellow cake right here.
Right?
y'all doubt I can be a good head of the CIA? Is that what y'all saying? Y'all saying I can't be a good head?
We need you to do the wet work, though. That's the thing. We need you to go. The missions that we disavow, that we say never happened, that's what you do.
That's right.
You're part of the shadow government.
When you want something done right.
Right, exactly.
Shotty when folks want to pop off.
But listen, if we had Michelle and Phil Fox, that's the black community, that's the Hispanic and the Native Americans. We good.
Here we go. What's right?
We good.
But listen, and we get to take the rainbow back.
Yeah, because I like rainbow stuff. I need the rainbow back.
Right.
Instead of saying make America great again, it's like I need my rainbow back. That'd be your presidential.
That'd be my presentation. I need my rainbow.
Give me back my rainbow. But listen, people, when you listen to people talk, they out themselves. If you just be quiet and let people talk, they really tell on themselves. Because notice how she described her white sons as opposed to the black son. Right? The nerdy white kids, the white smart kids, the big, and the child hasn't even grown yet, and she already assumes he's going to be this big brute. And she juxtaposes him with the nerdy white kids, and she said that a bunch of times. So what kind of parenting are you going to do when clearly you see your kids vastly different based on just skin color?
What you gonna do when he grows up looking like Steve Urkel?
Right. What happens then? messes up your whole mind. Like, now what? You know? So yeah,
presuppositions are dangerous, you know. I mean, because I'm all of about 5'9", and I was about this tall when I was like a fifth grader. So my uncle was raising me up to be, you know, a 7-foot all-star basketball player. Then I quit growing. So you gotta be careful with them presuppositions, because there I was, you know, 5 foot playing center, going against 7-footers. But yeah, so I mean, you know, this is stuff that I try to I try to educate my own community as well, because we, you know, BK and I have, I mean, even on this particular platform, the Bible Talk, you know, we talk a lot about consistency, right? We talk a lot about, you know, not swaying too far one way or the other.
Right.
And it's important for us to have that consistency, and I try to educate my own people to show them. And I had a massive debate today on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that. That was deep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, folks are on the other side of the aisle. They are upset, and they get hyper focused on one thing. And when you get hyper focused, that should be a warning sign to you. And you know, we need to always double check our heart. So I mean, this scenario, yes, it's sad to see, but family, we need to constantly check our hearts to make sure that we're not falling into that same process, just in reverse or on another level.
Right.
Because it's vastly important, and this is a fantastic example of why it's important for us to constantly be checking our heart, constantly making sure that we're not swaying one way or the other, because then we get to ignorant stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
absolutely.
But what she's not seeing is the end result of somebody being seen as just a statistic has resulted in people losing their lives. Like that's what they're not getting. Like, it's not just, oh, you spend a night in jail, or a police officer rough you up and then you get to go, or they humiliate you. People are losing their lives because of these biases. People are dying because of this. And for you to be so callous about it, about your son, and CMB said it right, he's othered in his own home.
Mm-hmm.
If she is comfortable marginalizing her son in public, I don't even want to know what's going on in that house. And that's sad and terrible. And, you know, it's just sickening. And for people to clap at that, and for people to be okay with what she said, and not realizing that this is the seedbed resulting in people dying for things that they shouldn't, that really they should get a ticket for, if that's even what it amounts to. That's terrible, and it's sickening, and it's disgusting. And if anybody can offend it, then you're terrible, and you're disgusting too. And you need to check your heart and check yourself, because that was disgusting. I can't believe she said that about her own child.
Yeah,
her own child? Really?
Yeah, look at the. I mean, it sort of goes back to Kyle Spears, right? Remember yesterday, he was on BK's channel. So I mean, this is the type of rhetoric that he's talking about. You know, this systemic racism, all this idea. So that perspective, you know, and I know I'm preaching to the choir. You know, we all understand what we're trying to educate ourselves with, but these are the things that we need to sort of point out and bring. And after the when I was on with BK, when we went over contextualizing the gospel, he said, wow, you know, you brought out a lot of stuff unintentionally that really goes back into the face of white people, because, you know, there's a lot of this stuff that we need to basically turn the mirror and show them, like, look, this is the stuff that you're putting out there. And so, like I said, I'm preaching to the choir, but, you know, how this is the challenge, is how do we do that, and how do we gain traction? because and that's something where I see extreme value in a guy like Kyle, because he comes at it from a completely different perspective that that not only do we see it as, wow, man, this is brand new and something, but also he speaks their lingo. So it's sort of the Acts 17 approach, right? Because he's able to basically paddle in their river and flow with their flow. So I mean, I am super excited. So I mean, shout out to BK for, you know, finding a guy like him, bringing them on the platform.
Thank you.
Applause to that, and applause to his ministry. So make sure you go check out Kyle Spears on the Facebook, or on YouTube, excuse me. And I forget his
the name escapes me too. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be an extreme, as he starts getting rolling, I think that's going to be a massively important piece of apologetics as we look at dealing not only with our own, but being able to find ways to, and avenues to sort of show the mirror to these types of situations, and come at it more level-headed, if you will.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. So let's continue to get the people on the panel even more frustrated.
Oh, Lord.
Megachurch pastor, abortion is consistent with Christianity, and I will fight to keep it legal.
I'm just...
a pastor of a Georgia megachurch who also is running for U.S. Senate said last week he believes legalized abortion is consistent with Christianity, and he would fight to ensure it remains legal. Referencing his career as a minister and in public service, Warnock added, "I've been focused on women's health, women's choice, reproductive justice. This is consistent with my view as a Christian minister, and I'll fight for it." Bryant then asked, "Do you think it's consistent with God's view that God endorses the millions of abortions we've had in this country since Roe versus Wade?" Warnock responded, "I think that human agency and freedom is consistent with my view as a minister. Ebenezer Baptist has more than 6,000 members and is affiliated with the Progressive National Baptist Convention." So, abortion, is it consistent with Christianity?
Oh, Jesus. I'm just not going to say nothing this time, because I'm tired of these people. They didn't work my nerves today. Just.
I mean, I think that the thing that, again, right, people tell themselves, or it's weird. I think that human agency and freedom is consistent with my view as a minister. I think that's, to me, that's the sentence that really zeroes in for me. It's like, what do you mean? Like, he needs to unpack that. Like, what do you mean? How does that respond to killing actual humans? Like, what do you mean by that? Right?
It doesn't. You can't murder babies and then call yourself a Christian, because I'm pro-life just all throughout. I don't believe in the death penalty or anything, because I am legit pro-life. And just murdering babies, like God, I mean, in the Bible, it talks about don't, sacrifice your children to Molech, because they were murdering their babies.
Right.
It's too much. Like, you, as a Christian and as a pastor, not even as a pastor, as a Christian, thou shalt not murder means babies too. Like, I don't understand how you can say it's okay to murder an unborn baby. Like, this baby's done nothing. This baby is a part of the Imago Dei as well. So you're okay with murdering the Imago Dei? Because that's what I'm hearing you say. I'm hearing you say murder Imago Deis because they're just fetuses anyway. They're not. They have heartbeats after 2 weeks.
Well, he's shrouding that with the idea of him being an advocate for women's health.
Okay, you could be an advocate for women's health and not murder babies. So, like, I mean, you can do both simultaneously. Like, they are not mutually exclusive to where you can care about women's health and then be okay with murdering babies. Like, I'm not okay with murdering babies. Like, I don't have children, but if I was pregnant and then it was like, it's either you or the baby, I'm going to choose my baby. Like, at this point, I would, and I can confidently say that. I mean that with all my heart. If it came down to it, I'm choosing my baby. My baby hasn't had a chance to live. This is, again, it's the Imago Dei. I'm not sacrificing that. I'm just not doing it. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. And then for you to be a pastor of 6,000 people and you're basically telling them that murder is okay, where do you draw the line at that point then? If we have freedom and we have human agency, well, where does that human agency stop? Like, is it okay if I come and just like shoot you in your foot because I have human agency? You know, like, I mean, because where do we stop with this freedom? Like, you just, is that again, it goes back to love your neighbor, you love yourself. This baby is still your neighbor. Your baby may not be born, but the baby is still your neighbor. Are you loving this baby? You're not. You're okay with that. And again, if somebody has, and I'm going to say this, if somebody has had an abortion in the chat, I'm like, you can repent. God will forgive you. Nobody is judging you for that action if you've done that before you were saved. I get it. So nobody's saying that. Everybody make choices that wasn't always the best. I get that. But as a Christian, to say, as a Christian and a pastor, to say it's okay to murder a baby, I have a problem with you. Like, you just really need to just go on somewhere and sit down, because you're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. And if you care about women's health, then how about you got 6,000 member church? How about you guys open up a women's clinic so women can come and get prenatal care if they need it? They can come and get checked if they need it. You have more than enough members and enough money to make this happen. If you care about women's health, open up something where they can come and feel free to get the health care and the services that they may need, that they may not be able to afford, and offer it in a sliding fee basis or either for free. Like, I don't understand. Like, there's so many other options that you could have went with, but instead you go murdering babies. Like, you a whole joke in these streets, and nobody should vote for you. Don't vote for him. Even if you wanted to, don't vote for him. Just tell that man to go on somewhere. I wanted to call him something else, but I'm trying to do better with my life today.
And we appreciate you doing better, sis.
Amen. And, you know, unfortunately, this is a byproduct of the church being afraid to tackle tough issues, right? Because the church, you know, inside the doors, we're like, you know, we're got eyebrows like this and, you know, shaking our fists. But when it comes to conversations out in the world, you know, then we're afraid to have it. The same thing is with plenty of other difficult issues that are within the church. And so we choose to just sort of go completely silent when it comes to these, you know, quote, tough issues. And so we as a church have a hard time getting any kind of impact. And then, of course, this whole thing is just, it's bleeding. We're the church is bleeding. The truth is bleeding out because we can't dare say these things in public because we're so afraid of being, you know, ostracized by the public and looking, you know, people are worried, you know, we're worried about how people perceive us and look at us, and we don't want to burn bridges and all these things. But see, it again, we tend to clam up and we become ashamed of the gospel because we don't want to be seen as divisive, or we don't want to be seen as you know, as someone who is just, you know, a bigot or whatever. You know, all of these words are these buzzwords that Christians are just deathly afraid of, because for some reason we feel like these things are going to ruin our witness. But really, it's the boldness that is going to increase our witness, and that's going to increase the effectiveness of the gospel. And unfortunately, you know, I was having this conversation with my wife earlier today because one of the people that I've sort of got into it with on this post that I was referring to earlier is a very, very close family friend. And she's a very traditional person when it comes to her belief system. But I had to be bold, and unfortunately I had to, you know, hurt her feelings because of the gospel. And I didn't do it out of spite. I didn't do it out of disrespect, but I did it out of conviction because I know the truth and I want her to hear the truth. But, you know, my wife was saying that it was grieving her in such a way, you know, it was eating her up and it was tearing her up inside. And so we had this conversation where it is hard for us to talk about these things, but yet we have to still be bold. But yet the church as a whole has become so weak that we run away from these things. we default right back to, well, I don't know, or we try to find some neutral ground because we're so afraid, and that lie of that our witness is going to be somehow tainted, or it's going to be it's going to, we're going to be ineffective because we're going to be viewed in such a way because we're telling the truth. And
I love what you did on that thread, just to sidetrack a little bit.
It was amazing.
Because you see, we talked about bad contextualization. You did beautiful contextualization.
Yeah.
Because the way you describe Jesus, like Jesus is a tribal man. That's so powerful. Because and it's not like you're saying something that's not true. It's just we don't usually hear Jesus framed that way. Because he is he's from the tribe of Judah. He's a tribal man. And from your people, right? That right there, it clicks. Right. So now he's not this foreign concept. He's like, no, I know what it means to be a tribal man. I'm a tribal man. So Jesus is like me. You know what I mean? And that starts building the bridge. That's the connection there. And I thought the way you did that was beautiful, bro. I tip my Kango to you, bro. That was amazing.
My Kango.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
But back to this individual. This dude's theology is trash.
It is.
Because I gotta keep it up down. It's trash because right. Michelle talked about the Imago Dei, right? In the book of Genesis, the Hebrew word for image is Solem, right? The word Solem means representative figure, right? That's why we don't need idols like the pagans, because the pagans, their idols represent the actual deity that they worship. We don't need that because we represent the deity that we worship. We do that. And no other creature on earth has been given that job, right? That's the agency that we have. So when he's talking agency, he's not talking about being a Solem of Yahweh. He's talking about something else. Because if you understand, you are God, right? And 2 Corinthians, we are Christ's ambassadors, right? So we see it in the Torah and we see it in the New Covenant. That doesn't change. We reflect and represent the Most High God on earth. So that means we carry ourselves like our Creator, right? So how is what you're talking about in concert with that? It's not.
And
the thing about it is, all that conversation about human agency and freedom, what about the baby? Everybody talk about everybody's rights and everybody's choice, but nobody ever considers, what about the baby? What about
a human?
What about the baby? And this is calling evil good. And this is just ridiculous. Dude, you need to check. He says I'm a Christian. I have questions. I have a lot of questions, sir. Because there's no way you can stand up boldly and declare that as a Christian, abortion is in line with Christianity. That's just
it's a slippery slope.
Consistent.
It's a slippery slope. It does. And you'll go on other consistent slopes. Go ahead, Mr. Phil Fox.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, and this man is in charge of 6,000 souls.
He shouldn't be. He really shouldn't be. And it's like, if you're willing to say abortion is okay, where do you draw the line? Like next thing you know, abortion is okay. Well, then, pedophilia might be okay. Homosexuality in your church is okay. Where do you draw the line? Like, where do you start actually representing Christ in your theology?
Right?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So if you are going to be like, if you're going to condone sin, might as well condone all of it. Because you're not telling people the truth, what the Bible says. And it's like, it takes more of a real Christian to stand up and stand against those things. Like Mr. Phil Fox said, you can do it with love and with compassion and still give them the truth. You don't have to be like, you're going to hell for abortion. Like, you don't have to do that, but you can tell the truth. It's still murder. And you should not be doing that. When they were sacrificing their children to Moloch, God was not happy with baby sacrificing. You're sacrificing your baby. I mean, you can do all of that without being as over the top as me. I'm not the one that God sends when you need compassion. I'm the one He sends when you need fire. So you can, but you can still have that and give that to somebody and still show them that in love. And and still be within Christian theology. I'll question his Christianity too. I'm just gonna tell the truth.
But even there are atheist organizations that are against abortion. Because
Yeah.
even in their worldview, right, the body, it's about human flourishing, right? So killing life is antithetical to humans flourishing. So
Yeah.
even an atheist gets it. And science
Mhm.
backs it up, right? Life begins where? In the moment of conception. That's science. Science says that. Not the
Right,
Bible,
right.
not the church, right? Science says that. So what's the problem? So if you don't agree with the Bible, fine. The dudes with lab coats, they also tell you that that's a life. So now what?
Yeah. So what you gonna do?
So what you gonna do?
If children, if babies, I mean, the most innocent among us all,
Yeah.
if babies have no regard in your theology, I don't want your theology. And every single member of your church need to walk out of the door, and you don't need to be leading anybody. Period.
Benjamin says,
said
"Boo is the pastor of
what I
MLK's
said.
former church." That's
And
crazy.
that's
I didn't know that.
terrible.
I didn't know that, bro. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
if your
Wow.
theology has no regard for the most innocent, keep it. And everybody that's a member of that church need to be asking for a new pastor today,
Yeah. Today.
right now.
It's
I
crazy.
agree. Vote him out because he don't care about your babies. And I said what I
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Right,
He's
right,
a
right.
secular Christian, also
Mhm.
known as a secularist. Now I said
Right.
what I said.
Right. Right. All right. So let's continue to get you even more flustered. That seems to be my goal for tonight. All right. So we gotta talk about this.
Oh Lord.
Liberty University board unanimously accepts Falwell's resignation.
I swear if BK just want me to just act a fool tonight. I swear. I swear.
Liberty University's Board of Trustees unanimously voted Tuesday to accept the resignation of President Jerry Falwell Jr. amid salacious sex allegations involving him, his wife, and a pool boy. Falwell, 58, will receive his full severance package in accordance with his contract, the board said in a statement. According to an ABC TV affiliate, terms of the deal weren't known. Falwell Jr. said in an open letter Sunday that his wife, Becky, or Becky, is it Becky or Becky? That's a weird way to put Becky. Wow. I guess they want to be fancy with the I. Anyway, had a brief affair with former Miami pool boy Giancarlo Granda around 2012 and that he wasn't involved. He said the couple became the victims of repeated extortion attempts by Granda, so he decided to finally disclose the behind-the-scenes drama. Liberty University names acting president after Jerry Falwell Jr. placed on leave, but Granda retorted that not only did Farrell approve of the affair, he liked to watch the pool boy and Becky have sex. Granda claimed the affair went on for years and denied trying to extort anyone. Falwell had reportedly agreed to step down from his post at the helm of the Lynchburg VA College Monday, then withdrew his letter of resignation, only to finally submit it by the end of the night.
Yeah. Okay, first, these are not allegations. There's literal phone calls, pictures, emails. The guy has got like 100% proof that all of this stuff took place and that Jerry Falwell was complicit. So I wish they would stop saying that these are allegations because they're not allegations. This is a fact.
I mean, there's gonna be more stuff I could share, but it was just too salacious. It was too hot for TV.
It is.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
It is. Secondly, clearly Jerry Falwell is not a repentant man. Because he's still calling it. He's still there, you know, to me, it's like he not coming clean about this whole situation. So that's a whole nother problem. Anyway, I'm done. That's it. It's not an accusation. These are facts. There's already evidence out there clear in Jerry Falwell so far is not repentant. So we know how to handle it.
You also has a picture where he's with like his pants is unbuckled and he's with some woman that's not his wife and she looks very scantily clad. He been falling off he also has a picture of him in blackface. I mean, where he's calling out the governor, but he got a picture of him in blackface too. He's done way too much. And I was halfway done with my MDiv at Liberty. Now I got to find another school to go to because this man has just been going down a very slippery slope. I'm tired of him too. He's been doing too much for a long time, and people have been just letting him get away with stuff because of who his father is. And I think sometimes we need to stop trying to give people credibility based on who their parents are. And what's his name? Andy Stanley, he's one of them. We got to stop trying to give people credibility.
Absolutely.
Joel Osteen is another one. We got to stop letting these people run roughshod just because their parents may have been a great Christian. I mean, Samuel was a great prophet. They didn't want his sons because his sons was off the hook. I mean, you got that, and nobody was like, "Hey, Samuel, you said we're gonna go ahead and let them do it anyway because we love Samuel." They was like, "No, just give us a king because we tired of these people acting a fool. Your sons ain't right. Just go on and do it." We got to stop letting these people just go and do what they want to because we have memories of whatever their parents did or they was great in the faith. And he's an example of why we need to hold people accountable for their own actions and their own sins because it's too much. He should have been stepped down long before we got here. But nobody was doing nothing or saying nothing to let him just run liberty however he wanted to. He was branded to the ground, got rid of the philosophy department. I mean, I only went for Gary Habermas, and then you get rid of philosophy department. Like, bro, the only reason I came to your school and you gonna get rid of it? What's wrong with you? Like, you know what? Hey, Ty, how you doing?
It's a couple people in the chat say he needs Jesus, which is so ironic, right? The head of a theological university needs Jesus.
He does need Jesus.
That's crazy.
He does. He really, really does. And the thing about it is, dude threw his wife under the bus. Like anybody could get it from Falwell. He threw his wife under the bus. Like, oh yeah, she did all of this. Took no ownership of his role in what was going on. And then refuses to resign. Like, I resigned. Nope. Yes, I did. No, I didn't. Yes, I did. I'm just like, dude, your pride.
I think that whole reluctance to resign is because I think he violated his contract and he realized that he wasn't going to get paid. So I think he retracted it to negotiate getting the money, and then that's why he stuck it back in. So
and my thing is,
he secured the bag.
You expect this from secular schools and secular institutions, but you at Liberty University, one of the most highly named Christian universities in the country, and this is how the leadership acts. I'm like, come on, bruh. Even for the sake of the name of the school alone, this shouldn't have been how this was handled and carried out. It's just disgusting. And you're right, Michelle. Honor and respect is not hereditary, just like how a church shouldn't be either. Your daddy is the pastor don't mean you be the pastor because you his son or his daughter. That's not how this works. Christianity isn't hereditary. You don't pass your faith on down to your children. It doesn't work that way. And we have to stop treating it that way. And we have to stop treating people that way. You act up, then we have to address you as believers do, because you're not going to bring shame and you're not going to sully the body of Christ. We're not going to do that. We already got to deal with the fact you out here acting crazy over coronavirus and saying this stuff with the election and all that kind of stuff. We already have that to deal with. We don't need this to deal with as well. Sit down, go ahead quietly into the night. You and your wife need counseling. Y'all need therapy, and y'all need to get it together. Your whole family, and look how degrading this is to your family. Like it's not even just you that's doing this. You dragging your daddy, you dragging the Falwell name, your kids, all of it. Like, come on now. This is disgusting. This is disgusting.
Very disgusting.
And Jerry Falwell Jr., I don't want to see your name in lights or nothing. Just go ahead and sit down. We don't need you at the RNC. We don't need you on the Trump political campaign. Just go ahead and sit down and get your family together. Period.
Here's what he needs to do. And get that philosophy department
he'll disappear
back.
Now. He got the bag. He got 10 million.
Yeah, go on into the night. Go on into the night, and let's just move forward.
And whoever the new president is, you need to get the philosophy department back and get Gary Habermas back, because I was very disappointed. I was like, I'm about to really quit now. He was already on the chopping block. And as soon as it was like, we getting rid of philosophy department, Gary Habermas no longer, what? That was the only thing y'all had. All y'all had was Gary Habermas. I really had nothing else going for y'all.
That's the guy right there, Habermas.
You only had Gary Habermas.
You didn't even graduates embarrassed. Just embarrassed.
Yeah, just embarrassed. I'm glad. I'm glad I was only halfway done, because at this point I'd have been like, I don't know if I should even tell people I got an MDiv from Liberty, because it don't look too good no more. All I'm saying is I went for Gary Habermas, and you got rid of the only thing I came there for. y'all really not that great of a school. I had not one black professor, and I took half my classes. Not one. And then you get rid of Gary Habermas. Like, I guess I can't rock with y'all. But you got time to get rid of Gary Habermas, but not your mistresses and your wife's boyfriend. Oh, okay,
man.
I got you. You too busy for that. I got you.
Hate to see it.
Just go on.
It.
Just go on.
Yo, Michelle with the golden gun today, boy.
I would hate to
I'm
be
not
on
Shawnee
your
Mills
bad side.
tonight. I am not. I'm just Shawnee tonight. The Shoddy Mills has been transferred over to my sister.
You have to get to Michelle.
I'm demure
I'm tired of
on
these- I'm
this
just tired of these
evening
people.
here.
It is interesting.
Okay?
This says Pastor Bennett is being looked at for liberty. Really? Wow.
Is that true?
Is that true?
That'd be dope if that's wow.
Okay.
They ain't ready for Pastor Bennett though. I don't know if they're ready for that energy. I don't
We might
think
get Gary
he's
Habermas
gonna last
back.
2 weeks, bro. He's gonna last 2 weeks. He don't keep quiet. When he sees stuff, he's gonna say something.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Bennett is no slouch. I don't know if he's gonna last in liberty, bro.
I don't know.
That's
All I'm gonna
crazy.
say is I know the makeup of Liberty. He's not gonna last long in Liberty. I'm shocked I lasted as long as I did. Let me just be honest. I'm shocked they ain't put me out. They probably was glad that I was like, I'm gonna take a break because I did too much. Because I probably got put out. Because I'd have been like the African church fathers, because you don't want to talk about them. I'm gonna write my paper on the African church fathers.
Wow.
And they probably was like, "Whoo, Lord, get her out of here." That's not what we was talking about.
Yeah, I was told don't go to seminary because you're going to fight people every day. Like they should have told me that. The professor was like, you're gonna fight people every day.
I know I don't need to go.
I was all the time, because they'd be like, "We're
My eyes
going
alone would be like,
yeah." I'm telling you, because we was writing church history, and I was like, "Let's not forget these people." And I know they was like, "Oh God, again, we get it. You know more than the 3 people we named. Okay, fine."
So here goes the angry black woman again.
Michelle.
Here she goes again.
Here go the professor. Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, we know.
You're
Fine,
correct.
we get it.
You're correct.
We get
it.
Michelle, like me, anybody.
Anybody else?
Other than
Not her. Please. But I always got A's though. They couldn't refute the information. I got A's. So what you gonna do? You know I'm right.
Wow.
So.
And ladies and gentlemen, someone pulled up real subtle, like we got Miss Titus 2 in the bodega. What's going on, sis?
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday.
Happy
So you want to chime in real
Bodega
quick
day.
on the shenanigans?
Oh, with Jerry Falwell and everything else?
Yeah.
I haven't heard all the details on that, but the little bit I do know,
You don't want the details because there's more. There's more stuff that came out today.
It's ugly.
Yeah, it was.
It's ugly. Another dude just came out and said him and Becky had some
Yeah, but
relations.
but the first dude like dropping,
And he goes to Liberty too, this dude.
dropping phone calls,
He dropping everything.
pictures. He's screenshotting and taking pictures of them on like he got them like exploding,
Yeah.
like for real.
Folks
He
gotta
got them CVS
understand.
receipts. You got them long CVS receipts.
You can't be having all these scandalous things going on in your life in 2020. I mean,
You cannot.
I don't get it. Pastor John Gray, same thing. It's like, come on, bruh. This is your 3rd time around. And I know we ain't talking about that, but I'm just saying, I'm so tired of seeing all these church scandals.
So he's gonna buy
Tired of
another
them.
Lambo for his wife. Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It ain't
He's
even
gonna buy
worth
2
it.
now.
But to me, like the video, like the first phone call that he dropped, like to me, it's like it's pretty clear that he's trying to get, like he's like mentioning them by name and asking the type of questions where it's like I would just assume like, are you recording this? Like literally, that's how he came off.
How did you not know? How did you not
He
know?
was like, can you say I love you, Gerardo?
Let this be a lesson to all
Can you
of us.
spell it out?
What is
Becky, right? And you're Becky Farwell, right?
Becky with an I, right? With an I, not a
This
Y.
is the thing.
Not Becky
This
with
is
the good hair.
thing.
Nah.
This is why accountability is so important.
Mhm.
That you gotta have people in your life and in your circle
Yeah.
that can be that for you, that can be that check and say, hey, what's going on? You're not acting, because I'll tell you this, Jerry Falwell and whoever else we call, they're in a circle, have seen, heard things before it got to this point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. And so what What have they said anything? Did they bring anything up? Because this could have been handled very privately before all this happened. This ain't the first time, as we've seen more and more people coming out of the woodworks. It's not the first time, but we have to we have to be ever so open to having people in our circle to hold us accountable. And two, we have to be willing to hold people accountable. We can't just say, oh, let's just deal with this in the quiet. Let's just not handle it or address it. We have to be willing to do the hard work and say, say, bro, you got something in your nose and it's not looking good. It's ugly. Here we have to fix it. I think Pastor Damon had a video that came out about shunning and what the intent and the purpose is for these things biblically, that we're supposed to, you got to handle and address things and not sweep it into the night. We do that a lot in the body. We like to pretend that this girl just didn't send out all these naked pictures of this pastor. And we going to church on Sunday and he coming up with this sermon to say, oh, they want to attack me. Touch not the Lord's anointed. And we're clapping for that. That's not going to that's not going to bring any restoration to the situation. It's not going to bring any healing or anything to the young person, man or woman, and it's not going to hold the pastor accountable and get him to repent for his sins and live and act according to the word of God. And that's what we have to stop doing as a body. We got to stop pretending that this stuff isn't happening. Listen, it's not a surprise to us that we may fall short. We may sin. Bible tells us, confess your sins to one another. We're supposed to be able to, in this body, hold each other accountable. And we don't do that. We're like, oh no, we can't address this in public. The world is looking. No, because the world is looking, we need to address it. We got to stop this in the body. We have to. Every church, every ethnicity, every branch of it, stop it. When your stuff becomes, whether it's in private or in public, we gotta hold people accountable, and we gotta bring correction to it.
But some people think they're above reproach and above correction. So no matter what you say to them, and they're not though. Like none of us is above reproach or correction
at all.
And what is his name? His last name is Price. I can't remember. His dad was also a pastor. I think it's Fred Price Jr. Yeah. And he was like, he sat his own self down. He was like, I have some things going on that's personal, and I just need to take some time and step away. I need to deal with stuff with my family. And I respected him for that. His theology may not be the best, but I respected him for that decision, because as opposed to making God look bad when you get exposed, instead he took the time to sit back and be like, no, let me deal with this with my family. Let me properly take care of this and let me deal with this the way I should. So I respected him. Didn't even care. It might be, and I think it's Fred. It might be Ken. It's one of them. He's a Price. But it's Fred Price Jr. I thought so. But yeah, so I respected him for that. Nobody asked him what happened or what he did because he handled it properly. Exactly. He didn't handle it improperly. He didn't make God or the church look bad. He said, hey, let me go ahead and step back. And I think we need more people to have that kind of humility when you realize I'm about to embarrass God. I'm going to embarrass my family, and I'm going to do all this stuff that I shouldn't be doing. I hear all the pastors say 2020 is the year of vision. I don't think they knew what they were talking about, but this is what you get. It's the year of vision.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things very clearly. Yeah. I mean, so clear.
Stop giving them your money. If they don't want to address what's going on, stop giving them your money. Stop inviting them to your church. Stop sowing into their ministry. Stop doing that so that they can get themselves together. Because what it does is it says to the victims of their predatory behavior that you don't matter, and we would prefer to cloak this man for whatever reason, or woman for whatever reason, and we won't address the behavior. Stop it.
Yep.
Stop.
And that's not how it's supposed to be.
Here's one of the things. This is just an observation. Unfortunately, the modern church has sort of started using the old Catholic Church model, right? We have pastors who aren't proclaiming the truth, keeping their congregations ignorant and benefiting from that. And it's sort of a common theme all through today, right? We have the illiterate church who does not know what the Bible says about the standards of their leader, of the person that is supposed to be teaching them, and this person is benefiting, and it's not even just the monetary benefit, it's the power aspect of it as well. There should be no such thing as power as a pastor. There should not be. You are called to be a servant,
Right.
man.
Right.
Because you have absolutely no authority over anybody. All a shepherd does is guide people to the destination. So the congregation is at fault for putting this person on a pedestal, and the pastor is at fault because he is allowing himself to take on authority that is not his. Christ is the authority, brothers and sisters.
Amen.
The pastor is nothing but a person that is supposed to show you the light and show you the truth. And the pastors in this United States, more specifically in this United States, the pastor is not doing his job because we have a church full of people who call themselves Christians but have absolutely no fruit, period.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the deacons, right? Because the word deacon in the Greek means he who shuffles his feet,
Mm-hmm.
right? That means you're busy working and serving. That's what a deacon. So when you hear like deacon boards and like there are these corporate entities, I'm like, that's not your job. That's described in the Bible. You're supposed to serve. You know what I mean? So amen to you, Mr. Phil Fox. You're right. 100%. 100%. So with that being said, guys, what I would like to do is talk about future endeavors. So we're going to start with Shotty Mills. What's coming down with you?
Shotty Mills. All right. Who said it? I like that. All right. So of course, you know the Bodega ladies. You're always up to something. Good things. I think Ty is going to talk about it in a little bit, but stay tuned. Bodega ladies and BK, we're up to something. Ty is going to introduce it, but for me personally, it's coming up on September, guys. So I've been working really hard, getting some things together for my blog. I'm not a half stepper. I don't like to do things half stepping, so I'm doing all that I can to make sure that it's good. And that it's consistent and it's bright and it's vibrant and it addresses being a woman in 2020 and having a Christian worldview. What does that look like? What does that mean? So stay tuned for that, and appreciate all the love, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yes,
and you can catch me on all social media platforms, not as Shotty Mills, though I'm thinking about changing my name.
I think you should. Shotty Mills fishing.
But you can find me on all platforms as Shawnee Miller, and I'm just here. If you need anything, prayer, anything like that, just hit me up. I'd love to chat it up with you. That's it for me, BK.
Cool. And Michelle Turner, who's had 2 GATs, missile launcher, taser gun. I mean, she's just been Frank Castle out here, just punishing these topics. You know what I mean?
I'm just glad she's on our side.
I'm so glad.
Unofficial write-in candidate for the president of the United States.
Basically.
Yeah, crazy.
So what's going on, sis?
So what do I have going on? Oh yeah, me and Dana, or Tiff, whichever you want to call her. She has many names. She's one of the Bodega ladies. We are going to be restarting our where we go live and discuss like scriptures that are taken out of context. We're going to start that not next Thursday, but not the 10th, but the 17th. And also, if you are a woman that's over the age of 18, we do have a book. We do have a book club for Pastor Isaiah Robertson's book, The Black Church Empowered, and we meet every other Thursday for that. So our meeting will be September the 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be going over chapters 1 and 2. If that's something that you would like to join as well. Of course, the Bodega ladies, we have a lot of stuff going on.
That's the ticket right there. Turner Fox for 2020. That's the ticket.
That's hilarious. So we have a lot of good stuff going on with that. And our brother JT Parker Sr., you guys subscribe to his channel because he's going to actually start putting content out on his channel coming very soon. And
JP, put your link in the chat, bro.
And D News gonna she's gonna be start doing videos. Yeah, she don't know it yet. So I'm just gonna throw her out there and say that's what she's gonna be doing. Oh, and I'm going to do my first video on my channel. It's a Certain Woman Apologetics. Is actually my apologetics channel. I don't really sign in from there too often, and I'm gonna have my first video in the beginning of October.
Nice. That's what's up.
Titus too. I'm excited.
What's going on with you?
All right, so this weekend, the Bodega ladies and Alfredo, aka the BK Apologists, are going to be joining me for a special live on. We decided on Sunday, right? Sunday at 8:00. Sunday at 8:00. So mark your calendars. It's gonna be lit, even though Michelle said nobody says that anymore, but I'm gonna say it because it is gonna be lit. I'm not gonna really tell you guys what exactly it's gonna be about.
It's too late. I put a thumbnail on the.
Oh well, but that's still. I mean, they don't really know though. They
That's
just
true.
kind of have to guess.
That's true.
We are going to be debunking some pretty terrible historical claims.
Terrible.
It's bad.
Bring your popcorn. I do think you'll get a lot of laughs out of our hangout on Sunday. Also, I plan on dropping another edited video this weekend if all things work out. So
Titus is going to be in a lot of trouble this weekend. She's going to be doing a lot of stuff that's going to make people very angry with her this weekend.
And she got big sisters who will fight you too. So I mean, just know that when people come for her, we all come for you. This ain't what you want.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's transpiring on Sunday. Somebody wanted to comfy test the rocket launcher.
They wanted to smoke, and they didn't realize I had this whole army behind me. So
it is what it is.
Fired.
Basically. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Good times. So Mr. Phil Fox, the real American, what's going on with you, sir?
Yeah, well, let's see. This weekend, Sunday at 4:00, I have Gen Z Apologetics. There'll be our follow-up show. We had him on a couple weeks ago, and we got inundated with questions, so we sort of fell off track. So he's gonna present some of his stuff, and then I am absolutely excited because on the 13th of September, I have Michelle Turner coming on to talk about the biblical perspective of women from the Bible biblical perspective. So. And what's their role? So I am absolutely ready to melt from the fire that's going to be coming from that. But yeah, I'm excited. So, and then just my normal stuff every Sunday, 4:00 Eastern, Drops of Hope Ministries and our everyday Bible study, and that's all I got planned for now.
Cool.
But we'll see.
Real quick, guys, what time is the video dropping tomorrow?
I'm gonna try to have it by 8:00 tomorrow. We'll see. I'm gonna have to put in a lot of work to get that done, but that's my goal.
You can do it. That's my goal. I can't wait.
It's about polyamory, guys. You don't want to miss it.
Oh,
it's about your boy Kevin, former pastor Kevin, huh?
No, you got it. We have to tell you later.
Didn't he drop some stuff on
We'll talk afterwards.
He did, but it's not him. Oh, and I'll be good on Mr. Phil Fox's channel because I'll go with the flow of the host. That was nice with Isaiah too. I was calm. It's other times I'm not calm.
Yeah. So you bring the messiness to my platform. Great. Good job.
This is the bodega.
That's true. It is the bodega. It is a little street over here. So it's cool. So Dr. Detroit, apologist in Detroit. What can we expect from you, sir? Oh, first of all, we need that footage, fam, of you preaching, man.
Oh, that was amazing.
Did you load it up in the channel?
It's in there.
It's in there. I watched it. It was amazing. He did an amazing job.
Good.
I don't know if it's amazing, but
it was.
Put the link to the video in the chat, bro.
I gotta go find it again.
Gotta have that in the chambers, huh? So
yes, I got a couple of blogs that I'm working on. One called Theology and Pictures, and then another one called God Loves Justice, off of Isaiah 61, where I'm going to talk about the history of policing in America, the broken justice system in America, and God's heart for justice as expressed through Scripture. So I'm pretty like I wish I was finished with it so I could just drop it but yeah, I'm working on those two right now, and then I'm the one is gonna be finished first. The Theology and Pictures gonna be finished first. So, but yeah, those are the two things that I'm working on right now. I do got all those little videos that I already shot that I still need to finish making the images and stuff or the thumbnails for. But they just kind of been sitting in the chamber. I haven't really it's been hard for me to try to figure that out. So
I'm going to tell you you're emoting.
Holler at me. You know that.
Yeah, you're emoting.
You're emoting. You're emoting.
Johnny, be good. Johnny, be good. Just be good, because I don't want to pop off no more.
I was demure. I was not Shotty Mills on tonight. I was calm.
Shotty Mills did come out a couple times though.
It slipped out a little bit, but in a good way. Michelle has been bracing herself the whole time. She's been
She did. She had the gats out. I was like, go ahead, sis. Go off. Go in and let have. Go on.
I was good today. I wanted to say more. God was like, shut up, girl. Just stop it.
We definitely appreciate your discretion. So, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Sunday afternoon is gonna be interesting. I got my slides already ready, so you know how I do. I like excite stuff.
I'm just gonna be the DJ and laugh. That's all I'm coming to do. I'm coming to DJ.
You're gonna be DJing a lot. You're gonna be pulling up that record a lot, Shotty. Let me tell you.
It is.
There's a lot of parts.
You're looking for BK Apologist.
Shotty Mills on the one.
Good. I gotta record.
Hey.
Phil Fox gonna be the DJ.
Right. So, because I was gonna start working on another response, but that individual took down their video.
It was copyrighted.
Tyler, you have a question? Yes.
I'm kind of mad, man. I wish I had pulled that video off.
Man.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come back one day.
Yeah, Phil Fox definitely has that golden voice.
He does.
SOC, man.
Yeah. If
you guys need to combine and do an audiobook, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For real. So what's your question, Tyler? Before we out of here. Yeah, I was tight, man. He dropped that video. He put, unlisted that video. I'm like, okay. Somebody told him something. Someone told him something.
I think you and Pastor Damon must have scared him away today.
They did. Y'all did. And if y'all haven't watched that, watch it. Watch that video. Like, people was in the chat like, I thought we were friends. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh man, it was crazy. Oh, no question, Tyler? No problem, bro. All right, so with that being said, Shotty Mills, Michelle Turner, Titus 2, Mr. Phil Fox, Podges in Detroit, and BK Podges. Catch you next week, same bodega, same time. Peace.